Hey guys, it's CS Joseph at csjoseph.life doing another episode on social compatibility. And by now everyone's like, where the hell is the INTJ or INFJ or INTP or INFP lectures? They're coming. In fact, the INTJ one is going to be coming immediately following this one. This is the ISTP one, also known as the Craftsman. So just beware, I do them all in a certain order, and I have to do them in that order, and thank you for your patience. And I know that it's taken forever, but these particular lectures take a very long time to do because I have to calculate the algorithm and get the list of the types in order, and then I have to get the whiteboard ready. It's a lot of effort. These particular lectures are really high effort, so based on that, it kind of coming out a little bit slower. Not only that, I just started my new Human Nurture lecture series, Season 13, which is pretty cool. And I think this is Season 12. We're going to be finishing up Season 12. Again, if you've noticed, I have a bunch of seasons. I have a total of 13 seasons right now. But each season is devoted to a particular subject, and I could add bonus videos or bonus podcasts to each of them at any given time, and no one would even know, right? It's just I'm continuing to build on the various content, so they're living seasons. They just keep going and going and going, etc. It's not about, oh, this is just this season, this is complete, and I'm doing it in a certain order. No, it's not about that. It's more of each subject itself has a season or an attached season or multiple seasons attached to that subject for the purpose of these lectures, right? So that's kind of how we're going along with it. Also, for those of you commenting on the Human Nurture lecture series that I started last night, they were amazing comments, especially the talk about Jordan Peterson. I'm really happy to see that this audience is engaged with that and even willing to challenge me on my points, and I have no problem with that, and I have no problem debating those points out and supporting them moving forward. But I really appreciate it. I don't want this channel to be about sophistry. Sophistry is when someone is speaking and then there's like no feedback, there's no criticism, like CNN or Fox News. That's sophistry, by the way. Talking heads and pundits, that's sophistry. Oh no, it's journalism, Mr. Joseph. No, it's not journalism, actually. It's sophistry. Maybe you should pay attention, in like philosophy class, because then you'd understand the difference. But yeah, seriously. Let's avoid the sophistry and keep the conversation live, keep it real, and if we want to have debates, let's have debates. No problem. Also, another announcement I'd like to make, I just started a Discord channel for csjoseph.life, and I will also be deploying a Mattermost server that links to the Discord channel or Discord server, etc. And and then slowly over time, as we roll out our premium member features and our memberships, as people want to get memberships with csjoseph.life, they'll have access to the Mattermost server where I am basically every day. But on the Discord server, I'm not on it every day, and I will also be scheduling public Q&A sessions, probably about once a month on the Discord server for periods of half hour to an hour at a time, and then going through there, whereas on the Mattermost server, it will be more common that I could do, questions and answers on the fly, etc. So that will be made available soon as we roll out our private members area on csjoseph.life, which will also have access to private lectures. Same goes for the email crowd. If you're on the email list, you'll be getting private lectures as well. And I believe I am going to be filming one of those tomorrow and then putting them out as well. So lots of new things coming for us. Thank you for your support. We are growing the channel. We're growing the podcast. We're growing the website. And as we grow and get the private members area, and if money starts coming in, all of that money is reinvested into creating more content, more infographics. We're going to be doing mobile apps pretty soon, like Imagine the Type Grid, except in the form of a mobile app that actually helps you type people on the fly in a way that makes sense. And it's really useful for a sales tool, by the way. If you don't really know the application there, then I'm sorry, you probably should figure that out if you are a salesperson. It's awesome. I have had a lot of success closing deals specifically because of typology knowledge, and it helps me interface with the customer at a more deeper level, which is kind of cool with how social compatibility works because it's more friendship oriented. It's not as salesy. We'll talk about salesiness at a later time in a different season, but yeah. Anyway, let's get back on track here. Social compatibility of the ISTP. The ISTP is an artisan, freedom-based creator. It's an introvert. It's a finisher, see it through type, direct, responding, movement, all about movement, prefers people to come to them and keep them informed, and can work in the midst of chaos. But for some reason, it's kind of hypocritical then, because they also like to keep things under control because they have an ESTJ shadow. So they have that ESTJ controlling shadow, but then they have a movement ego, and it has this like own little internal hypocrisy about them in that way, because they want to have the freedom to make decisions while simultaneously controlling everyone else. And it's like, okay, hello, mister, you know. And I always enjoy getting in front of ISTPs, especially my former ISTP boss, who was being very controlling, and he had this concept of, oh, you know, if you want things done right, do it yourself. So he'd always interrupt me while I'm doing it and then do it himself, and it really pissed me off. But I had to be patient with him and just let him do his thing, you know, give him freedom. But then when he wouldn't give me freedom to do things, I'd call him out on it and be like, bro, I mean, we all know that you need the freedom to make decisions, but you're overly controlling for someone who loves freedom that much. Gosh, I love doing that to them. Just the look on their face is priceless. Ah, love it. Anyway, so let's dive into social compatibility for ISTPs. What is social compatibility? It is the functional compatibility where the cognitive functions come together and they are very compatible with each other. If you don't know what that means, you need to watch my playlist on cognitive synchronicity to understand how the individual functions are paired up with other functions and how they have a positive, negative, electric charge, polarity between the two. It's more of like radio or magnetism, etc. That whole type of spectrum kind of comes into play because they are on their own little spectrum with each other, and they're trying to meet each other and broadcast each other and receive and transceive, etc. So mechanically speaking, the cognitive functions fit together, right? Well, the same thing when you put a series of cognitive functions together with a type and another series of cognitive functions together with a type. It's like one big puzzle coming together, and they fit in each other's slots really well, or they don't, right? And that is where we get functional compatibility. Functional compatibility is not camaraderie. So we're talking about ISTPs, so they'd have really high camaraderie with fellow ISTPs or fellow ESTPs or STPs in general, right? Camaraderie does not mean compatibility. Of course, socionics thinks that, but socionics is like dumb and not really knowing what they preach. They're talking about camaraderie, they're not talking about compatibility. And again, duality is a lie, and don't listen to it because you're going to screw yourself and your future if you totally go in the dualist way. Don't do that. You know, to quote Mr. T, I pity the fool. So that's not going to go. So again, remember, camaraderie does not equal compatibility, but we have camaraderie and functional compatibility because of redundancy within our minds so that we can at least interface with fellow human beings to get tasks done or overcome obstacles. Evolutionarily speaking, this is necessary for our psyche in order for our race to survive, and that's why we have it. So, but let's continue on to talk about compatibility. And for those listening on the podcast, I will now begin my usual naming off the compatibility of the types with the ISTP so that you get that. So, starting from the top, we have ISTPs are most compatible with SJs first, NPs second, SPs third, and NJs fourth. Breaking it down another level, we have STJs at the top, NFPs second, SFJs third, NTPs fourth, NTJs, SFPs, NFJs, and finally STPs at the bottom. And breaking it down even further, all 16 types, you know, in order of highest compatibility to lowest compatibility, deeper friendships to more acquaintance and shallowy surface level from a distance relationships at the bottom. From top to bottom, here we go. Number 1, the ESTJ. Number 2, the ISTJ. Number 3, the ENFP. Number 4, the INFP. Number 5, the ESFJ. Number 6, ISFJ. 7 is ENTP. 8 is INTP. 9 is ENTJ. 10 is INTJ. 11 is ESFP. 12 is ISFP. 13 is ENFJ. 14 is INFJ. 15 is ESTP. And 16 is the ISTP, yours truly. Except I am not an ISTP. I'm actually an ENTP. But I say yours truly because this lecture is about the ISTP. So, because we're in the introverts, let's do things a little bit backwards, right? So we're going to actually start with the bottom 4 most negative compatibility with the ISTP, and then talk about the top 4 and finishing it off the top form most compatible with the ISTP. So, ISTP plus ISTP friendship. Is this really going to work out for them? Or are they going to not be friends anymore? I would put money on not being friends anymore, because it's like, oh, I'm smarter than you. Or, oh, I have higher mechanical awareness than you. Or, oh, you need to let me do whatever I want. No, you're out of control, and I need to control you with my ESTJ shadow because you do whatever you want. And it's like, wow, you're such a hypocrite. But then, you know, that's how they deal with each other. Or, why is it that I can never make you feel good? It's because I don't care about how I feel. I care about what I think, just like you do. But I'm not aware that you do because I'm worried that you're stupid. Well, I'm worried that you're stupid. So apparently we're just going to have to stupid zone each other. Okay, I mean, that'll work. You know, it's like, okay, really? I mean, why would you do this to yourself? I mean, like, why? Why would you? Don't do this. Or, you never let me do what I want. Well, it's because I'm not aware of what you want. Or, I remember why don't you ever remember anything I tell you to do? It's like, well, I remember playing well. No, you don't. Yes, I do. You know, it's like, or why are you so soulless? Why do you lack humanity? The ISTPs are telling to each other. And I mean, like, come on. Why is this happening? It's because the ego, which is the top 4 functions, is trying to get what it's looking for from the other person's ego, and they're not, and they have to go into the shadow or the unconscious side of their mind. And it's not conscious, right? Which means it takes a lot of effort for someone to think and bring those functions into consciousness, because they have to fill their mental energy that normally resides on the top and push it down here, you know, to activate these issues. One way that we could explain this, gosh, I love Naruto references. I'm out of my mind. But apparently, chakra. When you think about chakra, and you have chakra that's, you know, stored in a certain area of your body, like most Eastern medicine would, you have to concentrate, and you have to send that chakra to another place in your body to be able to gain additional capabilities or abilities from that point in your body. It's the same thing with your mind. You are using your mental chakra, basically, or mental energy. Ooh, I'm getting all voodoo now and freaking out the audience. Yeah, sorry about that, but not sorry. And you're basically sending that mental energy to be able to process what the other person in the relationship needs. And it costs a lot of mental energy. And eventually you're going to run out, and you're going to get stuck back in your ego. And what if you get stuck back in your ego at the wrong time or the wrong place? And that hurts your relationship with this other person. Yeah, that's going to work out. Wow, maybe I should be in a dualist relationship, right? No, you should not be in a dualist relationship. Don't do that. Don't listen to the lies of socionics, please. ISTP, ESTP, very similar situation. It's like, why aren't you ever loyal to me? You only just do whatever you want, you know, and then that just pisses off the ESTP even more, because it's like the demon is trying to eat the child. Yeah, that's effective, you know. Or the ISTP is trying to give an experience to the ESTP, but the ESTP is worried that he's not getting a good enough experience. Imagine an ESTP and an ISTP in the bedroom, and the ESTP is worried constantly whether or not they're going to have an orgasm. The ISTP is like, probably not going to have one this time, but we'll probably try, you know. It's just like, wow, that's really going to work. Oh, and they're stupid zoning each other. You know, the ESTP is like, yeah, you're pretty smart, and then the ESTP and the ISTP is like, you know, well, I'm worried that you're stupid, so I'm just gonna stupid zone you. And they stupid zone each other, and then they end up competing with each other, and it's just like, am I the better STP, etc.? It's not going to work, guys. It's just not going to work. And they're expecting the other to be loyal to them. That's not going to happen. You think an ESTP is going to be loyal to an ISTP or vice versa? That's not going to happen, because they both do what they want. They're all about willpower, right? You know, and it's like, you never give me the freedom to do whatever I want. And it's like, well, I'm not even aware of what you want, so how can I give you the freedom to do what you want if I'm not even aware of what you want in the first place, right? ISTP plus ESTP relationships is asking for trouble. I don't recommend it. It gets even more troublesome when you do ISTP plus INFJ. You know, the INFJ is all about what they want. They get very wanty, and then like the INFJ is like, well, I want sex right now, and the ISTP doesn't even realize it. They're completely oblivious to it, because any trickster is not even aware of what the INFJ wants. So how is that going to work? It's not going to work, you know. And again, this is about friendship, and I'm talking about sex, and I probably shouldn't when I'm talking about social compatibility or friendship, but, you know, again, this is an ISTP, and STPs have this thing where they're kind of more okay with casual sex than all of the other types, which is kind of weird, but, I mean, that's kind of how SPs roll for some reason. It can happen. So, Of course, the STP is watching this saying, oh, no, that's not true at all. And then to which I have to remind them of the ESTP Virtue and Vice lecture, where the vice is nymphomania. And ISTPs definitely have nymphomania. It's not their primary virtue and vice, because that's joy versus melancholy, but it is a secondary vice for them, and they can have nymphomania-based qualities or traits if they're not careful. Although they can be pretty chaste, given the right situation. So, and the ISTP is trying to make the INFJ loyal to them with SE parent. SE parent is just hitting the demon, and the INFJ is getting super, super ragey. And the ESTP is accusing the INFJ of being afraid and having performance anxiety, and really exposing the INFJ's inability to perform on anything, even driving or painting or whatever physical situation. And the ISTP is constantly pushing the INFJ aside, just like, fine, I'm just going to do it myself, because obviously I can't trust you to be intelligent enough to do it. And that really pigeonholes the INFJ. And it gets to a point where they just end up hating each other. Absolutely hating each other. There's some serious hatred here. And I mean, why not? Because there's a lot of interference with the cognitive functions, a lot of traffic jams. The functions are trying to get to where they need to go. And it's a total mess. Same thing goes with the ISTP ENFJ. They're polar opposites, and the TE demon's trying to reach the TI hero, or the FI demon is being reached, the ENFJ is trying to reach the FI demon from FE hero, and the ENFJ is telling the ISTP constantly, you're a really, really harsh human being. You don't give anyone a good experience. You just do what you want all the time, and you're irresponsible, and you make people feel like crap everywhere. Then that's how the ENFJ just becomes this huge nag to the ISTP, constantly nagging the ISTP about not being moral enough, not having good social capability, being too harsh, not giving people a good experience, lacking in loyalty on a regular basis. Yeah, that sounds like the great foundation for a great friendship, guys. Awesome. So now remember, the lower the compatibility with social compatibility, the more maturity you have, the more understanding you have, the more exposure you have to these similar types in this regard, types with higher camaraderie but less functional compatibility. You can learn through maturity to actually live with them and have relationships with them and even be friends with them in these cases. But again, it's not somebody you want to be close. You would want to have them at kind of more of an acquaintance or